I'm in trouble getting that. So. Right.
So, can you hear us, Councillor Warwick?
We can't hear you though.
Your lucky day. I can hear you.
I didn't say it.
I can hear you now. Thank you.
I see you had your technical expert beside you there for a few minutes.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm not sure if it's me or somebody else, but we've got it all figured out now. So.
And this technology, you know, we get comfortable or we think we're comfortable, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work. And then we start doubting our capabilities and our lack thereof. And
there's just so many little
stuff like the agenda. I searched and searched and searched, looking for it. And
yeah, so you weren't here. So that was our mistake.
no, it's fine.
I know, but that was our mistake.
No, and I got thinking it was something I'd done wrong immediately, going, that was, and I searched, I thought, well, maybe it was in my spam file, because I figured out what that one was, my junk file, found an email in the junk file that I probably needed to deal with, and
No, it was in my draft.
no, and that's, forgot to hit the send button. I can totally relate. I do that quite often.
So is everybody, Brenda, are you up?
I'm not. I'm awake.
No. Are you into the package? And Councillor Kroll, are you ready to roll?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Perfect. We'll give you a couple minutes. Slow. I'm coming.
So, yeah, don't worry about that as much on the screen. You should have Ange on the screen.
You guys want the agenda?
We don't need the agenda up. Everybody's got one in their hands, so.
Okay.
Are we ready, Council Pro?
Yeah, I'm still thinking.
Okay.
But we got the agenda here too.
Yeah, I've got.
I think when you're ready, Mr. Mayor.
We will call to order at 8:36. Are you ready? Okay,
Yeah.
we'll call to order at 8:36. Sorry about the delay. We had some technical issues. And we're ready to rock. So motion to accept the agenda as presented. Also card, all in favor? Carried. Any delegations? Martha's shaking her head. I didn't even get to ask her. Mr. Moore? Still no? Okay. Public presentations, none. Administrative officer reports.
Mr. Mayor, I don't have anything really to add right now. I think that the important part is, as you know, we have a special council meeting in closed session at 9:30, so we want to try and get through these two items as best we can in preparation for that, so.
Okay. Strategic plan, has everybody had it?
Election first.
Sorry, election first, I clicked one too far down. Election, sorry. As we all know, Councillor Hunter has resigned. So we do have to have a by-election. And I believe the time frame is 180 days.
120 days.
120 days, I thought it was 180. Just any feelings or thoughts on how we should go ahead with this?
Well, I'll go through the document, Mr. Mayor. You guys didn't get a chance to go through it, first of all, but as council's aware, Councillor Hunter has resigned as of August 13th from his position on council. As the mayor said, requirements for filling a council, so we are required to hold a by-election within 120 days of the vacancy. So with the resignation on August 13th, that means the by-election must be held before December 11th. So council has the purview that they're the local jurisdiction and they need to establish the dates. We are typically any election that has happened, whether it's federal, provincial, or municipal, has been on a Monday.
Okay.
So our target is to stay on a Monday. Our target is also to have it remain in the community center, even though by-elections are usually a little smaller and probably won't need that big a space. It's just people are so used to that for an election, they automatically go. So we've looked at two different options. One being we would set the election to be either on November 2nd or November 16th. Those are two Mondays. And the nomination day has to be established 4 weeks prior to the election day. So we would suggest, if we're going with a November 2nd as the election day, nomination October 5th. Or if we go with November 16th as the election day, nomination day would be October 19th. I don't know if we have a preference either way. Obviously, the advantage of going a little, 2 weeks earlier is you'll have a councillor in place 2 weeks earlier. The advantage of going a little bit later means you can probably advertise nomination day a little bit more and give it a little more time. But we're still comfortable, we would still be comfortable with November 2nd because, as you know, we're in committee of the whole, so we're not making a decision today. We just wanted to let you know what the process is, what the timeframes are. But September 8th would be decision day, that council meeting. So if we were aware of that, we could start advertising soon after that and start using the newsletter on starting the 15th, which would be the Wednesday following. So we would have it in that newsletter at least 3 times prior to the first nomination day, in addition to any other advertising on social media that we will do. So we don't have a preference. I don't know if council has a preference.
Could we not make a motion or special meeting after this?
Technically, Mr. Mayor, when you have a special council meeting, it's for the item that's
On the agenda.
on the agenda.
No, I'm just,
Yeah, no, and it's good. But I do think even if we set it on September 8th, it gives us almost a full month of advertising prior to nomination day, if we went with the early nomination day.
Yeah. I think the sooner the better.
The other thing that we'll have to talk about with the by-election or with this whole process is, and the mayor and I had a quick chat about it, is just Mr. Hunter's responsibilities on committees. So we'll pull that up at September 8th as well, and Mr. Mayor may reach out to you prior to that meeting to see if anybody has some capacity for additional committees or interest in some of Councillor Hunter's committees. And it would probably it may only be a temporary appointment because towards the end of October, you'll have your organizational meeting again for the next year and be reappointing council members to their various boards and committees. So I haven't had a chance to look at what committees Councillor Hunter was on. I don't know if you have, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah,
Any-
as I recall, chair of one and he's an alternate on several, so the alternate thing is fairly straightforward. He's chair of Block A, so
Which is dormant right now.
dormant right now.
Okay,
So I think we should be okay. I just, and again, I'm going by memory more or less, but I'm usually pretty
Yeah.
good with that.
so there doesn't appear to be anything pressing there, but even the Waukee thing, if that's the only one that Councillor Hunter was the chair of, we can probably wait till the organizational meeting, so. So is there any questions on the by-election?
Can you give me the date again in terms of that? So November 2nd, our nomination day would be October. I have it here too.
So.
You got it?
So
Okay.
October 5th would be nomination day and election day would be November 2nd.
19th and 16th, correct?
And,
For the
yeah,
nominations.
yeah, and
Thank
then
you.
it would be October 19th for nomination and November 16th for election.
Thank you. Just one
Yeah,
quick question.
yeah.
What happens in the event that there is simply one nomination put forward?
Acclamation.
Same as,
Obviously, it's acclamation.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that, but in terms of dates.
so the same date, so the nomination date would, whichever date is set for the nomination date. If there's only one application received by that nomination
Okay.
date, that individual is automatically acclaimed to
At that
the
date.
position as of that date.
Okay, that's where I was
Yeah.
wanting to go with.
Yeah,
it.
as of that date. So you can't come in if we had one on November, and we tried to have that happen last time, but if somebody came in on the nomination date. And there's only one at the end of the business day there, and then someone came in the next day with their nomination papers, we can't accept them because they're after the nomination date.
Right.
So.
Okay.
So they would be acclaimed, and I believe what we would do is then at the next regular council meeting, that individual would be sworn in as a member of council.
Okay, great, thank you.
Everybody's good with that? Okay. I think, just, there's a recommended motion, Mr. Mayor, that.
Yeah. So do we have any preference? I think we want to go early if we can. Okay,
Yeah, as long as that gives you.
So what we'll do then is we will put the earlier dates in the agenda item that will go to council on the 8th.
Okay.
But certainly that's not written in stone, and if council on that day wishes to bump it back, certainly that would be an option.
okay, so can we get a motion to accept municipal bylaw report for information? Council Rohrbach, all in favor? Carried. Strat plan.
So I'm coming in kind of out of left field on the strat plan a little bit, but I did wanna get it back on the table again and moving
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
So I believe you all would have seen the draft or what I had presented you, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that is what Mr. Gandam was looking for feedback on from council individually.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And my understanding is that some counselors did provide some individual feedback. I just thought we could go through it today. If there's any questions or concerns, I had a couple of questions coming in from the outside.
Okay.
So,
Good.
yeah, so, it is what it is. Again, message from council, he would be waiting for a message from council. Some verbiage. Again, we're kind of caught in a little bit of awkward situation because Counselor Hunter has resigned, so do you wait till the new counselor's in to put the picture in, or do you leave the picture with Counselor Hunter in? So those are technicalities that can be worked on. I see, so the vision, mission, and values are something you guys created, I assume, at the strat plan, or those 2 days that you met,
Yeah,
okay? And everybody's comfortable with those?
yeah.
If I don't hear anything, I'm assuming everyone's comfortable.
Yes.
And if you have any questions or concerns, just speak up. My understanding was there was 4 strategic priorities. So the underground infrastructure, asset management, communication, recreation, and how we were growing. Everyone's still comfortable with those 4 topics?
Yeah, there was just, I was very much had a preference with respect to beautification as well, but he incorporated that in some aspects.
I think into the recreation
Yeah,
side?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So the underground infrastructure, I think, reading through this, my initial thought is it's should be a priority and is a priority. The challenge with strategic plans, and it's a bit of a catch-22, is you want to set lofty goals, like you want to strive to get somewhere, but you want to be realistic. And I think some of these may be a little on the lofty side, and you'll find out when you get into the nuts and bolts of budgets and actually assigning dollars. But I didn't think, I thought all of the goals were very good goals to go after. I think the stuff that he's highlighted in yellow primarily is timelines and timing of when that goal should be established. Did anybody have any concerns with the time? I was happy to see, because in a lot of strat plans, especially with a new council and a new council getting in, they want to push everything right at the beginning, and all of these timelines would be Q1 2027, and they're spaced out, I think, fairly well to be able to accommodate them. My one question on goals under the underground infrastructure side was, it says 3% annual infrastructure surcharge for 2027 budget. So to me, reading that, I'm not sure what the 3% is of. I don't know if you guys, is it, what number is that 3% off of?
I thought that was the operational budget. Was it not?
No, that's not for operation, it's just for upgrading infrastructure for the.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I thought that there was either 2 possibilities with respect to that 3%. 3% may be an additional charge on income taxes, on property taxes.
Okay,
Okay, in order to accumulate that 3%.
okay.
For the infrastructure. The other option that was considered was 3% of the actual operational budget to charge. As a formula to charge to the.
But it's still so it is on property tax.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that clarifies that statement, and maybe we need that just to say 3%.
I think it was property
Taxing, 3% tax increase
Yeah.
on property tax. Okay, no, that just makes sense. I was looking at that, and I was like, where's the 3%? What number is it coming off of? So, and the only other comment I'll make under infrastructure, I think everything that's there goal wise is good. It's just council is the rubber will hit the road when you get to that point of next year for 2027, implementing that 3% charge in addition to whatever you may have. So that's where the rubber hits the road. You guys will be the ones that will be determining what that tax increase will be. And so, and then establishing the reserve funds. Again, great goal, great idea. It's just when you're coming from probably not a real solid place on the reserve side, it's sometimes hard to move that up, because let's face it, most of these reserves and stuff will be funded by taxes.
Yeah.
So whenever you're saying that you're gonna meet these goals, it will have a tax implication. And I know that's your job to balance what's right for the town and what our residents can accept.
Right.
So, but other than that, I was good. I did have under the key performance instruments, set a yearly replacement target of so much per year. I think would be my suggestion versus linear length.
Yeah.
But I don't know at this point in time, not having spent time with the budget, what that actual number would be.
Right.
And I think it might be a little bit more fair for council to be doing that when they get into the budget process.
Yeah.
And again, the water main breaks, again, I would suggest year, not kilometer, as our measuring tool.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Okay. Any questions on, is everybody happy with that under the underground infrastructure component?
Yeah.
Okay. Communications, again, I just had a couple of questions. The goals are pretty self-explanatory. I just had a question with build a better relationship with special areas. Where was that like, from my perspective, coming in,
There is no better relationship.
we have what I feel is a great relationship with
I don't
special
think
areas.
that's the proper wording.
Okay,
I don't
What-
remember us, yeah.
what should be the proper wording?
I think that we want to
Maintain.
establish a network, an ongoing network of communication with other stakeholders,
Oh,
Not,
do we,
not specifically just special
Yeah.
areas.
okay,
We talked about the school division, we talked
Yeah.
about special areas, we talked about other municipalities.
Yeah.
So I think the goal is to establish an ongoing network of communication. For example, the one thing that we discussed was with regard to special areas project with the industrial park.
Yeah.
To have ongoing communication there as that may affect the town and our planning
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
So that's what I think
Okay.
where we were going with that.
is that,
That's already
Is
been
that go-
identified. That's already been identified in there on our focus areas with our regional partnerships. We've clarified that we were deep in collaboration with special areas, hospital, school board. That's been identified in our focus areas.
yeah, so the goal shouldn't have just said special areas and it could
Yeah, the
have,
goal should just not have said special.
couldn't say build a better, like, I mean, yeah, stronger, I suppose.
I would say an effective.
but I think, again, from my perspective, I think we have a good relationship, a strong one. And
There was no
with that,
dispute.
with that particular partner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was no dispute
Okay.
with respect to that.
So is that where it says establish MOUs with area partners, is that a similar comment as,
That,
so just below that?
I see where it is, I'm trying to remember what were the MOUs that we were discussing, I don't remember, Danny, do you? But Mr. Mayor,
Oh, yeah. Some of the things we do with the schools, some of the things that we do,
Yeah,
was my if I recall correctly. Some of the things we do with Starland County,
right,
we don't do a whole bunch with Paint Earth County because they're really out of our way, basically, for lack of a better term. But I know we do have Starland County coming in quite a bit. I know there was some talk about the school using their recreational facilities and some of the
Right.
arrangements that are in place and understanding of what they actually are. It's just things that have been happening for years and there's really no
just no,
structure
right,
behind
okay.
this. Structure behind the agreements, or perceived agreements, maybe that's.
Well, we do have Well, and the one in specific that you're talking about, the joint use agreement, we do have a joint use
Yeah.
agreement with Prairie Land. For the schools.
Is this just trying to say like our goal is essentially to continue?
Well,
Like
I
with
just wondered,
MOUs, yeah, like.
I just wondered if those two, like. It kind of was confused a little bit, not being part of the discussion.
I'm not gonna lie, when I read it too, I
I
was
think it
also
was
like,
to
maybe
more
it,
refine or define what they are.
right,
I
okay,
think is if I recall correctly, because there was some concern about how we cut the grass at the primary school a lot.
okay, MOUs for that, okay.
But just the whole arrangement we
Yeah.
have with the LRD. Same thing with the maintenance of self-municipal road and some others that are there.
Do we have
So
MOUs for all that?
there is an agreement with Prairie Land on the grass.
Right,
Again, it's a very, short agreement that could be changed at any time. I don't believe there's anything written down on paper in terms of South Municipal Road. I think that's more of just a verbal
right,
arrangement, for them to do that. So that is potentially something that we could explore with special areas, to see if they, would like to put it in writing. Maybe they don't want to put it in writing, but I do have a meeting on Thursday with Sean Kovich. So that's something I can throw out there and get the ball rolling on that particular issue, so. I don't know if I had any other questions on the communication side. Is there anything else that anybody thought was missed from your discussions or needed to be brought forward or changed?
As far as the joint meeting that we talked about with special areas, I actually reached out to John. And his initial comment was that a meeting between myself and him, including the CAO, was more appropriate.
yeah,
He didn't see any benefit to our boards meet, like my council, his board meeting. He didn't see any benefit in that. Once we establish that initial contact, maybe we can sit down and do
I don't need more meetings, I have
no, I'm
faith in you guys.
absolutely with you.
Yeah.
That was, I did reach out to Sean and that was his, well, Megan's feedback was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's fair.
So are we ready to move on into recreation component?
Yeah.
Again, I just want to clarify then, Counselor Card, that what is in here meets your beautification desires
Under recreation.
under recreation.
Um,
I just want to get to it.
let's see. Did we not? Maybe I'm just. One of the big ones, beautification, was the entrance to town. Out where the sign is, I just make that.
I didn't see anything
No, I don't either.
specific to that,
Okay.
but that
So
doesn't
there
mean,
was- there's two focus
Counselor Warwick?
areas.
I just want there is a starred note or not included in the strategic plan. They talk about the partners like Communities in Bloom, which no longer exists in our community. So we might want to just take that out.
okay, now that, yeah, thank you, Counselor Warwick. When I look at the very last page of this document, and that might be where Counselor Card's references, he does have an asterisk that says not included in the priorities was discussion around community standards. And are you comfortable with it being there, or would you rather see it more front and center?
If I could just go back, with respect to the focus areas, we had a discussion around beautification, which included, and he incorporated increased walkability and repurposing existing green spaces.
Okay.
And that would capture the discussion that we had
Okay.
around beautification.
Okay. Yeah. The only thing that I wanted to state, just so council is aware, because there is some discussions, in the goals about capital replacement reserves for the arena, capital replacement reserves for recreation. Just so you are aware, there already is a recreation reserve.
Okay,
So the town does have a recreation reserve.
Okay.
Started it in, I believe, 2000 and, so either 2001 or 2002. After the Centennial Place payout was to special areas was completed.
there you go.
Because they, as you're aware, they give us an annual recreation grant. And when we built Centennial Place, I believe they gave the town $900,000 up front. And then they would take $90,000 a year for 10 years off of our grant.
Oh.
So that was fulfilled, I think, either the end of 2020 or the end of 2021. And at that point in time, I think it was 20, I went to council the day and said, we've been operating without this 90,000. I think we should take this 90,000 and start putting it in reserve. And council of the day agreed. So there's probably, I'm guessing there's probably $500,000 in that recreation reserve. I know we tapped into it a little bit for the condenser when we replaced the condenser.
Mhm.
But so there is and it sounds like a lot of money, but it's not. But there is a good start on that, and it's not specific to the arena. It's specific to recreation. So, so there is a start there. I just wanted you to be aware of that. And then the only other thing that I'm aware of, and I'm not sure if there's been much discussion around it, Minor Ball has had discussions with the town for probably 5 or 6 years about their desire to want to improve our ball diamonds. And they have a plan. The trouble with organizations, volunteer organizations such as that, the parents come and the parents go. And I know 5 or 6 years ago, the parents that were heavily involved in that plan are not involved in that any longer. So I think I agree with you. It's been something that's been out there. And the other trouble we find with ball, due to the nature of the sport, it's a summer sport. They get geared up, ready to go, short season, but their focus is on that. And that's when your diamonds would be, if you're doing work, that's when they're going to be taken on commission or worked on. So, but I think they have to come, and we'll reach out to them and try and establish a startup to get going. Because I've heard different stories from different people on Minor Ball who have different ideas of what they think would be the preference.
Perceived needs.
Yes, but I've also told them from day one that you will need to come to the table with some money. It's really hard for you to come to the town and say, I want these changes done to the ball diamonds and it's gonna cost $750,000, but we have no money. And they don't have to necessarily come with cold hard cash, but they have the ability to apply for some provincial grants that can then go towards those projects. And that's where I would be looking to them to be able to do that.
So that would be similar to when minor hockey, when the town, well, actually minor hockey gets applied for the grant for the
Olympia.
Olympia
Yeah.
or Zamboni or whatever. The actual minor hockey actually bought that through a grant
Oh, wow.
that the town wasn't qualified, is that?
Well,
the
the province.
They were better suited.
The province has a grant that's usually the one that's probably the most accessed is the CFEP grant, or the Community Facility Enhancement Program. It's been around forever, but probably 15 years ago, 17 years ago, municipalities used to be able to apply for it, and they removed that. So municipalities were no longer eligible. So skirting around the book, you would get minor hockey would apply for an Olympia at the arena. They would be able to come up with 50%. Generally, if it was going to be funded, that was the level they would fund. In this case, and I'm using big numbers, if minor ball, if plan was $1 million to do what they wanted to do, they be the one that was putting the application in for 500,000. And I've always told them that if you can come up with half, the other half council will look seriously at. And probably with our partnership with special areas, between the two of us, we might be able to fund the remaining 50%. So
Is the big concern that they want the youth teams and above to be able to play out of the triplex for the boys teams? Like, don't the
Well,
fields out there?
Yeah, the issue is we modified the West James Diamond
Right,
to a baseball diamond.
yes,
And I have quotations up because it's a longer fence and so on and
Right.
so forth. Now they ideally would like to move the diamond up, well, not move the diamond, modify one of the diamonds
Right.
up at the triplex because it's a little more user friendly, so on
and when
and
there's
so forth.
tournaments. and
When there's
stuff.
tournaments, there was no way we could alter all three
Right,
diamonds up there to a baseball diamond, so.
but is that part of the want, it like that?
yeah, but
almost
they've
just
changed.
better?
My discussions with them 5-6 years ago wasn't necessarily around that.
Okay,
It was around the
Drainage.
drainage and the water conditions we have at the triplex. So historically, like when I first moved here in 1992, those diamonds were being built and being worked on by a group of volunteers.
Yeah.
And it was land the town had that donated, not the best land for this purpose.
The actual, we were involved in that
Yeah.
process, and the actual planning, we were overruled in terms of the one diamond, which is now again, they're requesting
Oh,
that it be
how it be
moved.
laid out.
Yeah,
But that's all, the land has always been a challenge because there's such a high water table there. So when we do get rain, it has nowhere to go.
right,
And, but it was land that was available, it was land that was in a suitable location. And so the decision was made to develop and build on it. And again, I wasn't here this spring. But they probably had some significant challenges this spring because of all the weather, rain you had. Some years it's not an issue.
Yeah.
But if we do get a decent amount of rain, it does take a long time to dry up and be usable. So that was part of the discussion on the triplex, is trying to see if there's a way you can improve the drainage.
oh, I get it.
As well as whether you're going to relocate or expand. It's a bigger picture in terms of what can we do to improve the water and the
Right,
drainage situation, so. But it is something that has been around for a number of years.
Mhm.
Did they mention the dugouts? No?
Dugouts weren't mentioned, but
Okay.
again, I'm referring back to
Yeah,
5-6 years ago,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
And the Douglas, our Elks were looking at them too.
okay,
We built, yeah, that was all volunteer work.
yeah.
Yeah, because we looked at, we painted them, we put tin on them, and we're looking at doing that again, so.
Okay.
So, yeah. I think the only thing that I can recall since that's been changed to them, obviously now they're all covered. But and I think what's, again, things change in the ball world now, they've got the fencing in front. And when I played ball, there was no fencing in front, but now they got fencing in front
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
protect the people in the
Yeah.
dugout and. So, yeah, so is there anything else? That was my only comment on those schools or that category.
What were the KPIs, but,
If I may, the one thing I did recommend, to Tyler, was that we incorporate a review plan with the strategic plan.
Okay,
Because so many plans become plans, but nobody
Yeah,
reviews them.
100%, yeah.
So I recommended, a quarterly review of the plan to assess where we're going and are we getting to where we need to go.
Okay, so that should be put in here.
Yeah.
Somewhere, but it also is something that, both administratively and council, we should make note of that, like similar, I know we bring a quarterly capital, review.
Yeah.
And we could establish that on certain quarters.
Yeah.
To bring back a review of the plan.
Yeah.
And then there might be nothing has changed in that quarter, or there might be some things short, but at least it keeps it, as Councillor Clark says, it keeps it fresh.
Yeah, yeah.
And in front of council,
Yeah,
okay? How we're growing is more the economic development side. I don't have any comments there. I just wanted to make sure that the timelines and what you guys discussed was what he's got captured.
The challenge that I see, that not only in Hannah and every community, is we all want economic growth, we all want industrial growth, but we want to handpick the type of industry that comes to our areas. And in a perfect scenario, that would be awesome. Unfortunately, that may not be the case. As far as the type of construction, again, as far as homes and things, again, we as council, when someone comes with an idea, we can support them, or we can try and steer them, I guess is the term I want to use. But ultimately, if they want to come and build something and we're unhappy with it, we can say no. But we can't tell them what they have to build.
yeah,
The only thing, just to mention to council in terms of the airport. So there is a goal or a
Is there?
focus area on the airport. To explore opportunities for our airport with commercial development, hangars and security suites. Currently, right now, we do have a policy in regards to the hangars at the airport, that they are to be utilized by hangars, because there were times in the past where people would use them as storage yards. And businesses would be using them as storage yards and stuff, and the town at that time and the pilots at that time said, no, if you're gonna have a hangar here, it should be used for airport purposes.
Right.
So we do have a bit of an issue we'll be having to deal with, because the cruisers bought a hangar this summer, and I don't think they knew that was one of the
Conditions.
kind of requirements the town looked at. That my understanding, there was a hangar out there owned by a gentleman from Calgary. He let them rent it the year before for their event. And they approached him about renting it again for this year's event. And he said, why don't you just buy it? Okay, and they bought it. So I've had a few discussions with some of the pilots who are concerned about that. So that'll be something we'll have further discussion on. It's not something that's a imminent pressing issue, but from the pilots' perspective, I don't think it's not that they're anti cruisers or anti that. It's if you allow it to happen in one, it's hard to in others. So we'll have to have some discussion around that, so.
Yeah.
But just, yeah, the airport's a bit of a challenging one, a bit of a tricky one. Even, I know you talked about tracking airplane movements. The only way we track airport data is what pilots fill in on the logbook in the airport.
okay.
And I can probably be very confident in saying that doesn't get filled in on a regular basis.
I would support that
Yeah.
notion.
So it might be a little bit challenging that way, but, you know, I just wanted to bring those forward.
On that note, though. Going forward. And our pilots group needs to help us with that. If there's people using our airport and we don't know about it. And it comes time for maintenance, improvements, so on and so forth. If our numbers aren't accurate, when we go to Transport Canada. Then all of a sudden we're saying, well, we've got 25 planes landing, when in fact we have 50. I don't know how you would enforce that, but I think that's something that our pilots group needs to be more proactive with.
And they generally, out of anyone, will have the knowledge if there's increased use, or I know sometimes we'll get a spurt or two when people are doing pipeline examinations or checking for wildlife or whatever, and they'll set up there, but again, it's hit and miss. So,
Got lots of crop sprayers used in there,
well, we have one for sure, don't we?
about 2 or 3.
Okay, I knew there was.
I know of one for sure, and I think there's 2 others that I'm relatively confident are using it as well, so.
Yeah, because crop spraying time is one big truck out there, but then all of a sudden another one.
Is there anything else? So I will reach out to Tyler and try and move this forward then. If council's comfortable with what's there.
I am concerned with the picture. Our town picture has never been done well. So
Yeah, I was gonna ask in that.
with- what that looks like.
And apparently. the
I
website is
know
not-
that- Oh, sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I'm sorry, the website as well, the picture was apparently AI modified.
Yeah, those pictures weren't the ones that were taken, they were AI modified, we were gonna discuss later whether we could. Maybe once the new counselor is elected, we could do photos.
Yeah,
I know the pictures we had taken were not of any kind of quality. We had 2 sessions of a photographer in, and they were not of any kind of quality to use, so.
yeah, and that was my understanding, was that you've had them done twice and you weren't necessarily satisfied with them. And I do believe the former CAO tried to improve them.
I don't even think we saw the first ones, we
Okay,
weren't even shown some of them, because they
Oh,
said we
okay.
just couldn't use them.
okay,
And we weren't shown any of them before.
Other than the ones that are on the website, and we know they're AI
okay,
modified, so.
okay. Okay, and definitely, again, you'll probably be sick and tired of pictures, but will be another one upcoming in a few months, so.
I think we should really consider who we have doing the pictures and the.
Yeah,
quality
no,
of
100%.
pictures, like, to have them done twice, yeah, it's unreasonable.
And I know, my understanding was that they were the local. That came, only local business that took pictures that came forward.
Yeah,
And you know, as you know, we try to do it locally. But 2 times and council not satisfied, it may have to expand the
I think that
scope.
part of it, Kim, some feedback I did get from some people that do photography, but is that they haven't bought business licenses, and it said that to apply, you have to have a
Yeah,
business
that was
license.
one of the things.
Yeah, so there were a lot of people that they saw it as, well, I pay the amount to get my business license and I don't get it anyway, so what was the point of getting my business license? Just people that do it more casually, I guess,
Yeah.
but I see, like, obviously we wanna keep it local.
Yeah, and there may be some, and maybe we drop that requirement.
And just see what we
Moving
get.
forward. But we always try to, I guess, reward those who have taken the business license, and I
Yeah.
tell people who don't have a business license who wanna take those pictures. That make your bid contingent.
Yeah.
On
the license.
on the
fee.
license,
Yeah.
so.
Well, I'm not so sure if we.
Charge us an extra $100,
Mhm.
and that'll cover your business license, so
Yeah.
you're not out, as you move forward and.
That's a good point.
And if you don't get if you didn't get the bid or the project, then, that's, don't have to buy the business license, so.
Okay, so they don't have to already have one to.
Well, I think we could
Okay,
amend
I see
that
what
if
you're
they,
saying.
and especially if they were submitting their proposal, they could say. Will purchase a business license if I receive the contract to do these
Okay,
pictures.
that's good to know.
But
Yeah,
it's-
I guess my position on that is that, the town is required, anybody doing a business
Yeah.
in the town is required to have a business license. And so to negotiate having a business
Leveraging
license,
somebody by the business license.
Yeah.
is a concern on
No, and
that.
it's definitely more gray.
And it's certainly not, reasonable or procedural fairness with respect to those folks who got a business license in order to become photographers.
Yeah. But you'll find as you go through, there's a lot of people who do business out of their home that
Mhm.
is.
Just very casual.
Casual that,
And that may be fine,
that don't.
that may be fine, but should we be hiring?
One
somebody?
100%.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we wouldn't hire them until they had their license.
Yeah.
So, but it is a little gray, no doubt. Okay, no, that's, so yeah, we'll work on that picture and I don't know if. I don't believe in my brief discussions with Tyler that he's even aware that, we have had a resignation and we'll be looking at a by-election, so.
Okay.
Okay, so recommend that the committee of the whole, town of Hannah, 2026-30, or for information and feedback, administration to provide council with feedback to Tyler Gannam Consulting to our consolidation of our final report. Motion.
Yeah.
Council Cole, sorry, Vern. All in favor? And carry.
So we do have some time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we'll take a quick.
No, but we do have some time, Mr. Mayor, if there's any roundtable that anybody wishes to share.
Oh, the golf course, we're looking for a new secretary.
Okay.
Secretary, she decided.
I did my 3 stints at the golf course.
And by the end of September, the new seats and everything will be on the swimming pool.
Oh, okay.
Thought we'd let everything clear away instead of doing it middle of summer.
The rodeo is, Councilor Warwick, go ahead.
I do have a question. I understand that the deputy mayor right now was Mr. Hunter. And I'm wondering if we will appoint an interim deputy mayor.
So Councilor Warwick, what I would suggest is at the September 8th council meeting, regular council meeting, that definitely has to happen. That will be one of the motions that have to be brought forward to appoint an interim. I'm not sure when his term started.
Just started.
Oh, just started? Okay, so probably what we would do is appoint an interim until the organizational meeting. And go from there.
So how
But
soon
that's
will
a
that,
very,
how soon will that happen? Because right now we have no sitting deputy mayor. Will that happen
right,
immediately?
so. Well, September 8th. So it's a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, but in the interim, Councilor Warwick, if the mayor was unable to attend a function or chair a meeting or do one of his mayoral duties, in the absence of a deputy, he can always approach a council member to fill that role. Because it's not always a guarantee that the mayor and the deputy mayor are both available regardless, but I think we'll be able to get through till the 8th. And then we will definitely have a deputy mayor appointed until the org meeting, which is typically close to the end of October. And then we'll have a whole new slate.
Okay, thank you. One other question I did have, and I know I don't know if I've missed discussion on this, is funds, where the funds are coming from for the process we're going through right now. Have we identified that anywhere along the way? To point to the investigation? Just wondering.
I can't speak to that, Councillor Warwick, but what I would suggest that it would be probably coded to legal. Legal will probably then be over budget. And it's something that at the end of the year, as you move forward, hopefully there's some savings in other areas that can address it. If not, I think council has to be prepared to pull it out of an administrative reserve or out of accumulated surplus.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did have a unconfirmed request. The rodeo is looking at moving up to the second weekend in August. My concern with that was, I believe that's your fall fair weekend, is it not? Councilor Will?
And to be honest, I think that would be more beneficial because they don't use curling rink anymore, so that's.
No, I
Yeah.
just, that was my concern was.
Because, speaking out of turn, but, we're looking at, trying to get the Ag Society and the rodeo committee put under one umbrella. You know, as we both
That would
do
benefit both of
both
you.
of us. So it's a big talk, but the rodeo committee, they're having a little issue. We don't have a problem with it, but.
Yeah.
You know, we can run them both.
The challenge that the rodeos had, and I had a bit of a informal meeting with their chairman. They had one participant in one event, two participants in another
Yeah.
event. So being the date that it is, right at this point in time, most of the guys that are trying to seek out the NFR are in the states where there's substantially more money to be made, and to come back to Alberta for one single rodeo isn't viable. And the way the structure is set up now, where in the past, Canada used to be the last rodeo to qualify for Canadian finals rodeos, so we used to have quite a few. We're not that anymore, so their logic is to move up to the middle of August. And it's kind of it's a great thing for the town as well. Instead of the hustle and nightmare to get the rodeo cleaned out and the rummage sale in and get it cleaned up for hockey and all the other things, we'd have basically an extra full month. But they've applied to the PRCA, I believe, and they haven't heard anything back yet, so that's their intention. There are no other rodeos regionally here. I believe the only other one they said was in Dawson Creek, if I recall the conversation.
Yeah, take a break. Right after that. July.
Yeah, I think it's worth a discussion. I know Councillor Thurl said that rodeo doesn't use the curling rink, but my understanding this year they are
For the trade.
for the trade.
Yeah, trade fair,
But the
Community center.
Yeah.
community center has been used in the past.
Yeah.
And I think it probably could benefit both organizations in terms of traffic and people and interest.
Because we already got, great thing with the car show at the other end, which there again, add more people into the community.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we don't need a whole bunch of little things.
no, we find, what's going on, like IGA now, they've got stuff coming on that same weekend. We're trying to build,
Sugar Branch have their chili cook-off.
it makes town more active and people are here, it's tourist season, so. There's only benefits.
Yeah, so I would think, Mr. Mayor, that the discussion would be open, but I think their first step would be, and as Councillor Thurl said, there are some discussions between the two bodies.
Yeah.
I think from the town of doesn't matter, it probably makes things easier, although. My concern from a financial point is then there will be requests from hockey to put the ice in earlier. And I know that will benefit them, but that is an additional cost to the town to have that arena running earlier. So those are all things that would have to be factored in, but I think the first step would be if the Ag Society and the rodeo committee were on the same page for the date, I think could move forward.
And the same thing though, if it hockey does come to forward. Maybe we have a fee structure for September.
Yeah.
Versus what they normally would
Yeah.
pay.
That's the whole thing, if they just have to start paying more.
Yeah.
You know,
If they want the ice.
If they want the ice.
Well, and that's the other discussion with Rubber Sale again, wanting to be transparent with our partners. Would they want to bump the Rubber Sale to the end of August? Again, well, from the end of September to the third week in September now to, certainly want to have that discussion with them too, so.
Yeah, everything we do affects multiple groups all the time
Yeah.
along the way, so.
And the worst of it is, they're all good,
Groups,
well,
Good
very
cause.
supportive,
yeah.
yeah, good causes.
Okay. No, it's something to take back to our meeting with the Ag Society coming up.
Perfect. So we will adjourn the committee of the whole at 9:33.